What is up, everyone? Episode 11 of Nook Talk Live. Like always, we're here over on YouTube, youtube.com/NintenTalk, and of course, joined by the best co-host on the planet, Bobby. What's up, man?
What is up, Patrick? How you doing today, man? Congratulations, Mr. Concert Goer over here himself. That is
We'll get to that. We'll get
amazing
to
news.
that.
Amazing news. Go ahead.
And the guest of honor today, we have Kang Gaming. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. So like always, we have our beginning poll kind of icebreaker that we put over on Twitter at NintenTalk if you guys want to vote on that every single week. Today is about something we haven't really touched on a lot, but I put over on Twitter, have you ever used Nookazon to obtain items in Animal Crossing? And 64% said no. So 36% said yes. I will go over to Kang first. Have you ever used Nookazon? Do you know of it?
I have never used Nookazon, but I know of it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Bobby.
I have used it. When I was trying to do my museum, right, and I wanted to have a shark, but it wasn't shark season yet, so I couldn't get the sharks to get a model made. So I went on there and I saw they were on there, and I think I only paid 60,000 bells for one. So I was like, okay, sounds fair to me. I'm in. So that's what I did.
It's not bad. So for everyone that doesn't know, Nookazon is kind of like a trading hub that people can go on, request items, kind of like Amazon. That's where the name comes from. And it's not like real world money, right? It's just items, bells. There's nothing. Okay, so I'm assuming Nintendo doesn't have a problem with it. I mean, it's still up there. It's been,
I think I don't think they have necessarily a problem with that per se. I mean, we talked about it last week, I think, where they were cracking down on people spending real world money. But I think this is kind of okay in their eyes. I think the only thing they tried to crack down was originally a lot of these people were selling duped items. So I think that's where Nintendo stepped in and like smashed that so you couldn't dupe items. But
yeah,
I think it's, I don't think they really have a problem. I don't think they would.
Yeah. Like, Kang, what are your thoughts on Nookazon in general? Do you have a problem with it? Would you personally ever use it?
I don't think I ever will use it. I don't see a problem with the concept of it. But there are a lot of things wrong with the Animal Crossing economy in general, though.
Mm-hmm.
So Animal Crossing, whether or not people want to really get into it, is an online game. So a lot of online games have economies. You can trade. Trading is a big part of a lot of online games. So that's cool. Nookazon, third party, whatever. The issue with Animal Crossing though is Animal Crossing right now kind of feels like the Wild Wild West. You have people who have been duping items. You have people who literally hack their Nintendo Switch and to run a modded copy of the game so they can just put in any items into their game,
Mm-hmm.
Nook Mile tickets, for example, and then they sell those Nook Mile tickets on Amazon for real money.
Mm.
So then people buy the Nook Mile tickets off of eBay, and then they go on Nookazon with those Nook Mile tickets to try to get items. So it's kind of like a shady kind of black market kind of thing that I think a lot of people realize and understand, because where are people getting 3,000 Nook Mile tickets from? Let's be honest, So everyone kind of understands it. So I'm not against the concept because I think trading is definitely a big part of every online game.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a lot of other stuff that's going on that's kind of like, hey,
Yeah, I think I'm with you completely. I think where Nintendo kind of hurt themselves a little bit with this whole situation in terms of if there is a hurting at all in this situation, but the weird thing about it is, like, if I got a street lamp, or like a light post, a street lamp, it comes in 3 different colors, right? But whatever color you're allotted, that's the only one you can buy, and you can't customize them. They're stuck to whatever color it is. But then, like, if I want a particular color that I don't have, unless I have friends or I'm in a good community, it's very difficult. So that's why I kind of am a little bit okay with Nookazon. But I absolutely think that, like, they are setting the trend of pricing for us on some stuff, and I think the trend that they're setting is absolutely bonkers. Some of the villagers that they're selling, for 100, 200, 300, 1,000 Nook Mile tickets is insanity. It's like, this is just nuts to even have.
So Bobby, you're going online. You're going to Nookazon when you were buying the shark, because I've never used it either.
So essentially, what happens is you have to you go into the website, right? It's just like Amazon. You go into the website. You have to register your Discord with it, right? So you register your Discord, and then it automatically throws you kind of into a Nookazon Discord channel or whatever, and then what you do at that point is you kind of look up what you're looking for, and then there's all the prices. It's like eBay. They call it Nookazon. I feel like it's more like eBay than anything. But you have all your prices set up there, and then you just pick the one you want, and then it gives you the person's Discord handle. But it also gives you a rating on the person, so you kind of know, like, do I trust the person or do I not? And then you just send them a DM, and then they tell you, like, okay, here's your dodo code, come on over. Now, the one that I went to, when I went, the guy had a table right at the end of the dock. So I came off the airport, and he had a table there. And he was like, just drop the bells on the table. And I was like, okay. And I dropped a bag of bells on the table. And then he dropped the shark model. And then I was like, okay, thank you, out of here. And it was literally like a 2-second transaction, in and out. Very easy, very simple. I'm sure I got very lucky, where I've heard some horror stories, but it was pretty simple.
Yeah, like I feel like your experience is like the experience people had a few months ago, but now with the diving, we talked about that last. Like now, there's people coming in with diving equipment, going over the edge, like exploiting people and stuff. My thing is like, how many people are signing up for Nookazon, attaching their Discord once so they don't even have a rating, and then I have a problem with it. It doesn't seem safe to me. I know that you can just like boot out, but like, I personally wouldn't use it. Kind of like my opinions on time travel. I feel like it speeds up the game a bit. I think there's a certain joy in like seeing a balloon, popping it open, and being like, "Oh my god, I've been looking for this item everywhere." And I feel like Nookazon kind of.
I agree and disagree with you. In terms of like, I get the whole let's just slow paces, let's slow it down, and everybody seems like they're in this wild rat race to be the first to get everything. But the problem I have with the way Nintendo set it up is, again, if I want different colored things, if I want a different lighthouse, I literally am stuck to whatever lighthouse I randomly got, and that's it. That's all I can ever get. So, I mean, I think let's be honest. I think the three of us are probably in a different territory where I could literally be on stream and just be like, man, I really need a white lighthouse, and I have 6 of them in my mailbox in 2 minutes. And that's kind of the blessing of being in the position we're in. But I'm thinking in terms of like, if I'm, somebody that's really, just a follower, and I'm in a Discord channel and I'm trying to find stuff and I can't get it because nobody answers me when I talk, I would go to a Nookazon. I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
I see a lot of people in your chat talking about like scamming on Nookazon, and to kind of back up a little bit, I do have people in my community, they use Nookazon as well. And from what they say, again, most of them have not been scammed. They don't really have any issues with Nookazon. It's been really just smooth transactions overall. So, that's not my issue with Nookazon. And like I mentioned in the beginning, I think trading is definitely a big part of any online experience you want to trade. My issue is like the kind of shady stuff that goes, not with scamming, but just overall, where are these items coming from? Where are people getting these Nook Mile tickets? Things like that. And it's again, we mentioned earlier about the pricing. When I first got the game, being a Animal Crossing noob, I'm like, oh, well, we can earn bells in the game. That's great. We can just use bells to buy stuff. Little did I know, right? Because on day one, people were like, were duping to get extra bells, or time traveling to get 3 million turnips to sell. So bells just kind of are worthless at this point in time. They're nice to have, but you really can't really trade with them unless it's something that's really like really bottom tier. No one really wants bells anymore. So Nookazon, good concept. There's apparently a lot of awesome people on there who won't scam you.
Yeah.
There's the back end part of it, to kind of like, where are these things coming from,
So I love the idea. I feel like Nintendo could have done this with Animal Crossing, making like I get reminded of City Folk, but like the whole auction house thing, where they could have like a listing option and people list their own things. But I guess I love the idea of this website. I don't think I'll ever use it, but what were you gonna say, Bobby?
No, I was gonna just say I wanted to touch base with Kang a little bit next. So you said this is your first. Is this your first Animal Crossing game?
Yeah.
Okay, and then time travel. You don't time travel. Is that correct? I think
No.
I think somebody told me that before. Is there a reason why you don't, or I'm curious if Pat and I don't, but I'm just curious of your philosophy of it, of what your feeling is, why you don't time travel.
Yeah, again, this is my first Animal Crossing game, so I kind of just want to experience the game the way it was, the way the devs meant for you to experience it. The devs have gone on record and say why they aren't going to say time traveling is bad, but they will prefer people who didn't do it. So I just wanted to experience the game naturally, especially being my first time ever playing an Animal Crossing game. I have had no experience at all with it, and another thing, again, the slow pace. Is being able to go about your day and every day coming back to something new. That's what really kind of drew me to the game. Like I played the first day, and then I'm like, all right, guys, tomorrow we're gonna have some new stuff to look at. So I'm back tomorrow. So that just kept happening. Throughout the first entire month. That was kind of like the gameplay cycle. You do something, the next day you come back, something else is there. So. I have no reason to time travel. I really have no reason. I don't really want anything. I'm not really yearning for anything. I'm okay with waiting to get like the golden tools and things like that. There's no rush for me.
Yeah.
Now being a content creator, which we all are, there is an incentive to time travel, especially if you want to put out content. Maybe you want to cover the latest update. You want to showcase all the items that, day one. There's incentive to do those kind of things, and I've thought about it. Like honestly, I have thought about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not really gonna fall for that. I'm not gonna get into that.
I was close once last week. Last week I was redesigning my entranceway, and my campsite was in the way. And I was like, I need to move this to the back. And I moved it, but I needed to move to continue my stream. And I was like, I called Pat on the phone. I'm like, is this okay? He's like, well, it's for content. Do it, man. It's okay. It's okay. And
I almost tricked him.
I know. And chat was like, go for it. And then all of a sudden, someone was like, wait a minute. You just bought 1 million bells worth of turnips this weekend. They'll die. And I was like, okay, we're not going to do it. And then all of a sudden I realized Pat was just goating me, man. He just wanted me to take the leap.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to time travel, there's a lot of like opinions about it. I'll just say this for anyone that in my opinion, this is only speaking of me, for people that like time travel because they want to move a bridge or they want to move their house or something, those processes are kind of tedious and they're extra long. Like if you want to replace a bridge, first you gotta destroy the bridge, and that's gonna take a day. Then you gotta put in the new order for the bridge, and then the bridge gets made the next day. So that's like a 3-day process just to replace one bridge. So people that time travel just for that kind of stuff, I'm not gonna be like, oh my goodness, whoa, But there's a lot of other things that time traveling has brought about, and there's a lot of reasons that people say they time travel as well. And people will say I time travel because I don't have a lot of time to play the game. And to me, I'm like, well, if you don't have a lot of time to play the game, well, Animal Crossing is perfect because there's no time crunch. You just do what you want to do every day, and then you just come back the next day. And then there's people that say, well, I just want to play the game the way I want to play the game. Well, I'm like, I understand that, but this is an online game. Like no matter how you want to say it, it's an online experience. So there's everyone playing, they can come together, they can trade. So whenever you have any kind of online game, there needs to be some kind of baseline experience that everyone goes through the same things at the same time. It's like playing World of Warcraft, and on day one, everyone's level 1, but then you have some guy who's level 8 with all the in-game gear, and you're like, whoa, man, where'd you get all that stuff from? And he's like, man, I just did a little something, and bam, I skipped everything. And you're like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, can I do that too? I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a baseline experience for every online game. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that's Bobby and I's point. Is like this, like Animal Crossing. We've played the past ones too, and I think the pace of it is honestly why it's one of my favorite franchises from Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like we were talked about the rat race already, but it's like you can do a lot within a day. The building and the content on our side is the only reason I've been tempted.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd rather just wait. Like
Yeah.
people have already are in winter already, not the southern hemisphere, but like
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big wow. Like when your game finally changes to that.
Dude, just from past games, like when you go out the house the first time, like because it's every day you walk out the house the first time and you see your surroundings. Like when you walk out the first day and it's snowing, it feels like a little kid again. Like it's literally snowing outside again. It's like, oh my god, this is a moment. And it's like you kind of, I feel like you cheat yourself of certain experiences when you do that. I mean, we've said it before. Like it's your game. You paid $60 for it. You do whatever you want to do. No judgment. Yeah. It is what it is. I just speak for myself personally, and you know, I speak for myself. I speak as a person that almost time traveled one time, and so here, okay, let's jump into this. So I didn't know who Kang was at all, and that's not a knock on you at all. It's just, you know, there's so many people out there doing content, you don't know. I watched Pat do, you know, the race for Judy, and then my girlfriend was like, "Oh my god, I know Kang. I love Kang," and I'm like, Who's Kang? And she's like flipping out about how great your streams are and how great your hunts are and all this stuff. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch this guy. So I went and watched, because I watched Pat's race when it happened. Because I'm like, I gotta support my boy. I'm gonna watch the race. I watched Pat's race, and then I went back and watched all you guys together at once. And I gotta say, you, Kang, are the most pure guy in the world, because I would have been dropping F-bombs for Pat to get out of my way, and you're just like, "Sir, please move, sir, sir, you're in the way, sir." And I'm like, what is this guy, like, tell Pat to get the F out of the way, and you're like, just straight up, like, just being calm, Mr. Cool, Calm, Collector. I loved it, man, and I became a fan that minute. I was like, this guy is wholesome to the core, like, that's your mantra. I love it. But seriously, can you tell us, like, how badly did you want to just punch Pat in the back of the head, like, get him out of the way?
Like, I didn't know what was going on. I thought that he thought there was something over there for him to get. So he was, like, waiting for me to get out of the way. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, there's nothing over there. So we all need to get out of the way. This is a dead end. Mm-hmm. That's why I started, like, typing in the game, because maybe he didn't understand. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, maybe he's stuck. So people were telling me that he was stuck, apparently. And I'm like, I maybe someone's in front of him, because I couldn't see. You know, obviously you have a limited amount of view. So I'm like, maybe someone's in front of him. I don't know, but I'm wasting time. So, sir, can you please move?
Honestly, we were there, what, like 10 minutes? It felt like 2 hours. It was like
it was probably like 5 minutes, but it was a long time to be sitting there just trying to figure out what was going on.
I'm sitting there watching you two and Ashley, like, over there, and I'm like, Chase is over here, like, running roughshod on you guys. Like, what are you doing? Like, get out of there, guys. It was good stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think there's glitching when there's a lot of people and jumping rocks and stuff. That has to be it. Someone said it was because my controllers drift, which I don't know how that would work. No. But I was running to the side, walking to the side, couldn't work. But that race, man, I gotta, like, Crunchy Island, thankfully, is getting the hype now. He's like shooting up. But that was next level, and he actually went back and he's doing a bunch of races now with the same map, but like different, like, you know, objectives and stuff. Really check him out, guys. Crunchy Island.
Well, but here's my question from somebody that wasn't there. Like, what's your takeaway from it? Like, A, would you do it again? And B, like, how frustrated were you during it?
Oh, it was fun. Okay, first of all, it was fun. Let's get that out of the way. It was fun, but it was a little bit blustering, because, you know, it's this huge, gigantic maze, and then you're trying to figure out what the heck you need to do, and there's like these decoy sections that lead to nowhere, and then you have your chat like yelling at you to, like, go do different things. You don't know what the heck they're talking about. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
I've already gone that way. There's nothing over there. What are you saying? And they're like, go down to the bottom left. I'm like, I don't know how to get to the bottom left. So it's like, it's a whole bunch of stuff going on. You're trying to figure it out. You got chat yelling at you.
You also have lag too. There's lag between you and the chat. So they might be talking about something that was 2 sec, like maybe, or like 7 to 10 seconds ago, and you've already passed. You're like, what are you talking? And it kind of like hinders things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole
But it
objective,
was a great experience. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, the whole objective to that maze was to build a ladder, pretty much. And it was funny because the maze started with a bunch of these pitfalls, but 3 of them were just buried items, and I just did not put 2 and 2 together that was the materials, because those were like softwood, hardwood, regular wood that you had to like put together. Genius map, but like I could not. I feel like I came in second, but I didn't even. Sam was like, "You guys can finish if you want." I'm like, "No, that's Chase's win. I ain't doing that."
I came in second, actually. Yeah, I actually did go through and did the whole thing. So
yeah,
but it was fun. It was fun. Would I do it again? Probably.
Yeah, I would definitely do it.
I'm just curious, like, how much time does it take him to do? Because like, you have to test it. Like, you gotta play test it. Because what if you get to a point and it's like it breaks the whole game? You know what I mean? Or the whole race for all 4 contestants. It was pretty cool. It was cool to watch it, that's for sure. But I know I was getting frustrated. I was like, man, I don't know that I could do this. I don't have the patience for this at all. Next thing we wanted to talk about was the fishing tournament this weekend. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to play the fishing tournament. If you did, what your takeaways were from it and all that stuff. So, Kang, we'll start with you. What did you think this week?
Well, I think this is the second official fishing tournament in the game. So I think they're fun, especially when you can get your community to get together to play. So it was I did it. I invited a bunch of people. They took turns coming to the island. It was a lot of fun. I think, and we were talking about this earlier too. Well, on my stream, it was the same rewards from last time, which is not that bad, especially if you didn't get them all. And then also your points from the first time rolled over. So if you didn't get the gold trophy, you had another chance to get the gold trophy. But that was cool. I do hope that Nintendo, as this game progresses, they want to continue supporting the game, that they come out with some new events and maybe some new prizes for these things that we're doing. And we also talked about a little bit about the stamp rally. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It was bad.
We destroyed that on the show.
that event. So hopefully Nintendo is coming up with some new ideas for events, some new tournaments. We have diving now, so they have a diving tournament, implemented into the game sometime. We have this August update coming out, so who knows what's all going to be in there. So, but overall, a fun thing to do, especially with the community, because you can invite people.
Yeah.
Pat, what was your takeaway from it all?
I did the first fishing tournament. I wasn't even making Animal Crossing videos when that first one came out. So I got all the items, though. So this second time around, I literally played like 3 rounds, I think. I didn't stream it or anything. I wish there was something else, and I think we're going to get to like how to improve this like a little bit later. But I really think the first one was in spring. This was in summer. Why don't they add like a season-specific item or like prize that you can get, like I don't know, like a summer hat or something, just something that makes me want to play this? Because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I feel like a lot of people didn't even participate this time around, or just was like, why? What's the point, kind of thing. I do like them though. I've always liked the fishing tournaments, probably better than the bug off, but
I got real issues with this thing, and the reason, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I hated the fact that the points rolled over, and the reason why is because in New Leaf, it was a totally different style of fishing tournament. It was in the morning, you roll up, you talk to whoever. Well, at the time it was Chip, so you would talk to Chip, and he would say, "Hey, today the object is to catch the biggest sea bass," and literally you would just go fishing all day for the biggest sea bass. And every time you caught him, you would take him and present him, and he would tell you the measurement. And then he would tell you what place you're in. And you could have friends come over as well, and they could compete against you, and you're all trying to compete to get the biggest. But they actually gave you bronze, silver, gold based on the size of fish you got. I didn't like the fact that I felt like I just felt like what I did last tournament shouldn't have carried over to this tournament. I feel like that, because my feeling was last time I got silver, and I was like, man, now if I push harder, I can get gold. Then to find out that, like, it was bad enough that the items that I could get were already duplicates from the couple of months before. But now, getting the gold was basically just put in half the time, and I was going to get the gold handed to me. So I felt like that was a little bit weak sauce on their part, just because now I don't need to go into any more tournaments. Like, I'm done. Like, I will never play another fishing tournament unless they drastically change it, because I have all the fishing items. I have all the trophies. What's the point? And when I looked at, like, New Leaf, in New Leaf, I actually built a trophy room that showed off and you could go and click it, and it would tell you, like, this is from the July fishing tournament, and this is from the August bug off, and, like, you got trophies that actually, to me, it meant something. So, I don't know. I would prefer they went back to the old model to some degree. Although I do like this model. But the other problem was, and I don't know if you had this problem, Kang. 2 problems. One, dude, it kept crashing as we were trying to get people to the island. Like, it was bad. And then the other problem on top of that was you literally had to reset the spawns after each round. So we would all have to go into the residence center, pile in the residence center, and we all got there. We'd come back out and go, because we did one round, and the next round there was no fish anywhere. And we're using bait. We're throwing bait out there, and it's not spawning at all.
Yeah, I also ran into a bug where fish would be like phantom fish. Mm-hmm. So you would throw out bait, a fish would spawn, but you couldn't catch it, and the fish couldn't be scared away or anything. If you threw out new bait, then a new fish would spawn over top of it. So people weren't able to catch fish. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the fish weren't spawning. Sometimes the fish were being scared away by seemingly nothing. So there were a lot of issues. Yeah, there were a lot of issues, and I think some of those issues were introduced with the latest patch.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of issues. There are still some bugs with this patch too that they did not fix. So it's kind of strange that Nintendo usually doesn't Nintendo usually has pretty good quality. So it's kind of curious that all these new bugs kind of came out with this latest patch. You know, maybe they're having issues, you know, quality testing with everything going on. You know, so hopefully they'll get back on top of it.
Yeah, because you're right. They do normally feel like they're on top of bugs and glitches, and this one, I think they're so badly worried now about duping and all that they're focused on trying to eliminate that they're not paying attention to these other ones. And hopefully that we get another update pretty quickly to fix some of this stuff. I know they did fix the Zen Bridge. That was a problem, where you couldn't cross the Zen Bridge when it was on a second or third tier. You weren't able to cross over the Zen. It was like an invisible wall was in the middle of the bridge, so you would just kind of run in place, which was kind of strange.
It's like every update they do, it's like another 2 bugs are made. It's so
True.
But I believe this month even there's a new bug off. The 25th, mm-hmm. I think, is the next one.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like that's really soon. Didn't we just have one?
It used to be once a month. You used to get once a month in New Leaf. You got once a month. So, I mean, I'm okay with the amount of them. It's just, like Kang was saying, it would be nice if they introduced new stuff. So even if it was like one new item or one exclusive item for that month tournament, you know what I mean? Like if they were to say like every August that you play this game, you could unlock this particular item. So if in theory you don't get it this year, you have a year to come back next year and you'll get this exclusive item when you enter the tournament and win the tournament or something. Like they got to do something like that, because I mean, be honest, like who's going to do the next tournament if you have everything? Like unless there's something you want multiples of, there's really no need to go back and fish. So I think it's a bit of a problem. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is kind of cool. I saw this on the news in the news today. There is a Beetle fight club happening every night, and I don't think people realize it's happening at nighttime.
Okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
Okay.
At nighttime, you go to the museum, and when you go into the museum, the big tree that's in the middle of the insect section, there will literally be beetles fighting. And then apparently what they've done is the next night it swaps out. So there'll apparently be a winner in theory. And the next night he challenges the next new person. So I don't know what you guys thought are on stuff like that.
What? Who finds this stuff out?
I saw that. I saw that randomly one night. You know, I usually stream at night, so I'm always, I haven't really gone in my museum that often anymore, but I was in there randomly one night and I saw these beetles on the tree and they were like fighting. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? What is this?
Yeah, man.
And they had like a little crowd around them. And
Yeah.
it was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the game. If you haven't seen it yet, you definitely go in there
time
at night.
or just at night?
It's just at
I
night.
don't know.
Apparently, it's just at night. I don't know what time
I'm
exactly.
gonna stream it, start placing bets and stuff. What the heck?
Well, the funny thing is if you played previous Animal Crossing games, the scorpion and the tarantula used to fight in the museum, and I was so hyped to catch both of them. I got them both. I put them in. And I go, why are they separated by glass? Like, what is going on? Like, they got one in one tank, one in the other, and it's like it'd be even cool if they just went up to the glass and like did stuff, but they don't mess with each other at all anymore. So the only thing that would really disappoint me now is if they took away the piranha. In terms of like in previous games, the piranha used to follow you around the museum. So like if you went to the glass where the piranha was, it would like tap the glass like it was trying to get you, and if you moved down, it would like follow you down the tank. So it's like, oh, I hope they don't get rid of that. That'd be crazy if they did.
Killer piranha.
Yeah, it was.
Dude, the museum though that was the wow moment for me. Well, besides terraforming in the trailer. I was like, damn, like that's one of the best looking things on the Switch. Seriously, any game, it's so good.
Yeah, the museum is special. Okay. Question for you both. We have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of people are claiming they have some burnout with Animal Crossing. What's next and all that stuff. Do either of you guys feel like Paper Mario will be the perfect Animal Crossing break game to take a break from Animal Crossing for a little bit? What's your thoughts on this franchise coming out?
I've never really like been too big into Paper Mario. I've played the games obviously, so I know that I do know that there is like a huge mass following in regards to the Paper Mario games. But I think it'll be fun to play in regards to content. I think Animal Crossing has like this huge different kind of demographic there is some kind of, there is some, what's the word I'm looking for? There are people that like Animal Crossing that like other games, but there's a lot of people just like Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. So as far as content creation, it may not be as hype as Animal Crossing when it comes to those demographics. But as far as just like playing it and having fun with it while it's out, yeah, I mean, sure, I'm gonna play it. Mm-hmm. Is it gonna be a big thing? I don't know. We'll have to wait.
What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, so I am a pretty big Paper Mario fan. I feel like the N64 and GameCube were like some of the best RPGs like of that time. Like the writing and jokes and everything is like really like a treat. Like the RPG element is the mainstay of the game, but the writing is really good. So I've paid attention to this franchise for a pretty long time. I gotta say though, oh man, I watched the Treehouse. They actually had a Treehouse on this game that showcased the entire game with a special announcement at the end, but we won't talk about that. But I watched this game, and don't get me wrong, it is great looking. It's so, like, the graphics are, like, incredible for the Switch. That Treehouse did not sell me on this game. I don't know what it is. I think it might be the battling. Like, there's this weird, you turn this grid thing and you, like, line up the enemies. Yeah. As far as, like, is this game probably good to play, like, if you are getting burnt out? Yeah, because it's probably, like, what, 20 hours? Yeah, 30 hours?
That's what I figure. It's a short game. I'm with you, Pat. I actually think this Treehouse hurt me a little bit when it came to this game because I was hyped for it prior, and then I started to watch it, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's just not sucking me in. It looks gorgeous, you know what I mean? But so did Color Splash, and that was should have been called color trash, but that's not besides the point. But no, I think I'm gonna still give it a try. I just don't know the rush to do it. There is a game that I would like to recommend to people though, if they are looking, like if they're just looking for like a little break from Animal Crossing, like do your chores in Animal Crossing, but you want something else to try. Story of Seasons is a really I would dare to say that I liked it better than Stardew Valley. I did a review on it for the Nintendo Dads, and I was pleasantly surprised by that game. So if you like Stardew Valley, this is actually a remake from an old Harvest Moon game, and it's really good. It's really good. So if you're looking for something different, check that out for sure.
That's good. Yeah, that game looks good, man. It's sort of, for anyone who doesn't know that franchise, it's pretty much Animal Crossing, but a heavier emphasis on farming.
Yeah.
But you can also like marry people in that game.
Yeah.
It is kind of like Stardew meets Animal Crossing, but it's more so focused on like the farming element.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looks good too.
Yeah.
But do I want these two massive games? Like, I want to go outside, Bobby. That's what I want to do.
You're not allowed to, apparently. You're not allowed to do anything anymore. And then
I really loves Stardew Valley, so I was thinking about buying that for her as well, or maybe for myself. So yeah, I'll see. When did that come out anyway?
I think it came out today or Tuesday. I think Tuesday. Yesterday, actually, I think it came out.
Okay.
I mean, it's to me. So here's the thing: like when I played it, I went into it the wrong mindset. I went into it like, oh, this is Animal Crossing, and I was just like, after I started playing for a few minutes, I'm like, I can't figure out what's going on. I hate this game. Then I took a step back and I'm like, wait a minute, it's Stardew Valley. It's not Animal Crossing. So I went back in with different eyes on it, and I felt like it looks better than Stardew. Like graphically, like I like Stardew is very pixel heavy, which I like pixels. Don't get me wrong, but I just for some reason I like this one better the way it looked. So
it's like a chibi art style.
Yeah, it's kind of like a chibi-ish type art style, but it's fun, man. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Ask you guys a question. Have you heard of Ooblets?
Dude, you know what? I never heard of it till today. And Alex Van Aken of OK Beast had a thing on his website or on his Twitter today. But talk to me about it because I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, now you gotta tell me what this thing's about.
It's kind of like Animal Crossing mixed with Pokemon mixed with Stardew Valley.
Get out.
Yeah.
Wow.
What's it on?
All right, guys.
Where are you playing it at?
It's on PC and Xbox right now.
Okay.
But it may come out for other things. But I got an early copy of it from the devs. So I played it already and posted a video up to this morning. But I played like about 2 hours of it. And so far, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. There is even combat. So Ooblets are like these little Pokemon kind of creatures. You actually have to collect them. It's funny because you actually have to grow them, like plant them in the ground.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So not only do you plant like vegetables and stuff like that, but you plant the Ooblets into the ground and then they grow and they could be like rare ones. They could be like, shiny ones. But anyway, you have these Ooblets and they battle each other, but they don't battle in a traditional sense. They dance battle each other.
Jesus.
So the combat system is based off of like these cards you draw. So like you guys have probably played some card games, but you draw these cards and each card is like a different dance move that does something.
Oh, get out.
The battle, and
that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It's kind of cute. It's very quirky. It's very like all over the place. But if you're looking for something that your audience may enjoy because it's cute, then maybe go for it.
I have to check it out. I'm gonna check it out. My thing is that I would love to have that in this because I could show that Bill is better than Eric, but whatever. That's another chat, another time, right, Pat?
Wow. Wait a second, Kang. Do you know who Bill and Eric are in Animal Crossing?
I know who Eric is. I don't know who Bill is.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! This is 2 weeks in a row.
That answers my question.
I did like Kang and his content, but now that's done, man. It's over.
Bill.
Bill is
a little brown duck.
Bill is a brown duck, and he's a jock. He's amazing.
Oh, I think I have seen him before. I've seen him like one time when I was villager hunting. One time.
If you find him, get him.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's so hurtful, man. Anyway, the final thing we had was Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing has its own Instagram now. If you guys want to check that out, it's Animal Crossing _official, which is kind of weird. I don't know why Nintendo didn't just go after Animal Crossing, but I guess they couldn't. I don't know. But have you guys checked that out at all or no?
I
have not checked out the official Instagram yet. No,
it's okay. It's okay. It's just like they're doing slideshows. They have 3 up right now, which is kind of cool. So
there's like no audio. It's just it's like villager spotlights, and I want to be pumped about it. I did follow it. Like I asked you today, I was like, what's the handle? Because I couldn't even find it. But It's a good idea. I
Yeah.
like it. I'm surprised there wasn't one already. That's kind of weird, but kind of a letdown if you guys go there now.
Yeah, it's not the best right now. They got to work on
Yeah.
it. That's all we got, Pat.
All right, yeah. So now we're going into the Q&A part, guys. If you want to head over to the Discord, if you want to submit that way, or maybe Kang or Bobby will read a question from the chat.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's pick a random one here. Okay. Kirsten asks, if you had to remove one feature of the game, what would you take out and what would you replace it with? One feature you would take out.
One feature. Wow. That's tough. That's hard, man, because I don't really find that I dislike anything in the game.
I will take out one feature. Well, is that really a feature? I feel like just the airport loading screen.
Oh,
Can we take that out, please?
well, that's like that's an implementation thing that they have to do, kind of. That's Bill.
Yeah, that's Bill. That's Bill. For anybody that
I would take Bill out and replace him.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
The disrespect on Bill.
I'm kidding. I love all the
know.
villagers. I always say this. I love all the villagers. Each villager is probably somebody's favorite. So
Yeah.
love them all.
Listen, it's okay. Bring it, man. It's okay. I can take it.
Another one that comes to mind is like, crafting and customizing. Like there should be just press A on the thing and it should be like, do you want to craft? Do you want to customize? There's just a lot of menus. It like really slows the pace down.
That's the thing I would say is like they need to fix the airport situation badly. Like if there's got to be a way to like I think like about Minecraft, right? So Minecraft, if I open my gates, people just pop in, pop out. If we're friends, they just pop in, pop out. It's got to be something similar to that. It's not a big ordeal. It does, like they got to work on something like that. Like it just doesn't.
It's a technical limitation because Animal Crossing doesn't have servers.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have your Minecraft,
okay,
they don't have servers, so they can't it's not like a constant world that people can load in without interrupting people. And I think also because people have custom items,
Mm-hmm.
So you have your custom clothing on, and maybe your island has custom things. You put down all the custom pathing. So I think what they have to do is they have to stop everything so people can load in the custom clothes somebody might be wearing.
Mm-hmm.
The person can load in the island. So everything just has to kind of stop. It would be Nintendo could fix it if they actually had servers, but it's peer to peer. So you basically are connecting directly to somebody else's Switch.
Yeah,
and not connecting to like Minecraft server.
Curiosity, is that something they can change later? Or like, could they build a server base, but they would have to get everybody to download a new version or update to it?
Well, I think they could, but Nintendo's history of their online games, they probably won't.
Yeah,
this is facts.
The same issue. This has been an issue in Smash Brothers. It's an issue in Mario Kart 8, and it's an issue in this game too. Like all their online games, they have the same issues with like lag and loading and all kind of things because they don't have servers. They just have everyone connect directly to each other.
Yeah.
So if you have bad internet, then you may lag, you may disconnect, you're gonna ruin everybody else's game because it's just direct connections. So they need servers. They make a lot of money. I'm not sure why they don't have actual servers.
Yeah, I don't. That makes no sense. Or I mean, how hard would it be to like partner with Microsoft or partner with Apple who actually rent server space? Like there are companies that are built for that. You have a partnership on some level with Microsoft. Like just go and be like, okay, look, we're gonna pay you to manage this. Just take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just doesn't make sense to me at this point.
The thing is, like, is there any incentive for them to do that? Like, think of the money they would have to put out versus like, people seem pretty okay with Animal Crossing. I think there's a lot of casuals that don't even care.
Yeah,
really, so
there probably is. It's very frustrating when you have to wait like literally 20 minutes to get everybody on the island, and then like as the last person's coming in, you get like a crash, and it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. I basically stopped. Like when it comes to like when I'm streaming, I don't do group meetups no more because the first day or two I did it.
Takes too long.
Oh, it was forever, man.
Yeah.
And it was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is not even fun. Like, people are just watching this loading screen the whole time. It was cute the first couple times. Then it was like, all right, just stop.
Well, I still do those every single stream, and yes, it is a headache.
What do you do during that waiting time? I did it for the.
I just talk to people. Talk to people. But yeah, it takes like 30 minutes for everybody to get in, and then you have one guy who's in his basement, and his router is like on top of his roof of his house.
That's Pat.
I'm not sure why.
That's Pat.
Not sure why he thinks it would be a good idea, But he's in his basement. His connection's crappy. He disconnects. Everybody's mad now. Yeah. And
Kang, let me explain something.
I still go through that pain.
You were this guy, my host over here. I literally had to make him go buy an Ethernet cable because he just thought that he could Wi-Fi this thing the whole time. I'm like,
oh wow,
like bro, you can't. He's like,
we're
what are you
learning
talking
every
about?
day, Bobby.
He's like, what are you talking about?
Wow, yeah. We even have an emote over on Twitch. We have an emote. It's my character hugging a router because of all the internet issues that we have with this game.
That's amazing.
It's literally so whenever someone disconnects, everyone just spams that hug your router emote. Like, come on, guys, get close to your router, sit on top of it, whatever you got to do. Do not come to my island with your bad internet, okay, please.
Look, and they're all saying it in chat right now. Hug your router. That's amazing.
Exactly.
Okay, this is from Leanne. She always has content creation related questions, but this is a good one. Streaming versus videos, and why? I'll start with Bobby here. Would you rather stream? Would you rather?
What would I rather do? I mean, I would rather stream, honestly. I think once you get the entertaining part of streaming down, and you understand like the whole what needs to happen and how you should be handling a stream, it becomes really simple. There's no process to it. It's just a matter of just coming in, flipping a switch, and going, But when you're doing videos, you have to think like, what's the whole aspect? What's the purpose of the video? What am I trying to accomplish? Then the whole editing process. So it's a whole different animal. It's two different animals completely. I mean, if you're giving me a choice of what I would rather do full time, I mean, streaming's easier, so I'd rather do streaming. But I love making videos. When I get the opportunity to just sit there and talk to the camera or do something else and make something fun and entertaining, I like to do that as well because it's fun to me. So I would prefer the video, but I enjoy the streaming a little bit easier.
Yeah. What about you, Kang?
Definitely. Well, the correct answer is both. So let's just get that. But streaming is definitely. I like streaming because again, it is a little simpler in terms of what you're doing. You don't have to come up with this big idea for a video or anything like that. You can just go on and just play a game. Talk. I'm really big on interaction, so I love talking to my viewers. Interacting with them. When we have downtime or just throughout the entire stream, just talking to them. Video creation though is very powerful, especially on YouTube. My camera's out of focus for some reason.
Yeah,
anyway.
I was gonna say that to you, but I feel like
video creation is very powerful though. Like I was doing a lot of different content, in the past few months, and it wasn't until I started uploading Animal Crossing videos on YouTube that my channel started really upticking, and YouTube started upticking, and also my Twitch started upticking a lot by leaps and bounds. Mm-hmm. So don't neglect the video creation aspect because YouTube is a juggernaut. YouTube is a super fused beast, especially if you can find something that works and you can get into that algorithm. You can find a lot of new viewers and a whole big audience by utilizing YouTube in that way. But
you will never grow on Twitch, just Twitch. You will, but it takes forever. I've learned as well. Like I stream one night a week on YouTube, and then and on my videos I say like I stream on Twitch, and it's pulled a lot of people over to Twitch that never would have even known that I was there because I just did Twitch for a very long time. The growth is nothing, so it's very difficult to grow on Twitch. So it's nice to have because the discoverability is so massive on YouTube. Like, it's so much easier for people to find you on YouTube than it is on Twitch. Twitch, they have to specifically almost have to go find you because there is no like recommended or stuff like that. Like, it's not like I'm going to be watching a Kang stream and they pop my or Pat's stream up and go like, hey, if you're liking this stream, go check this stream out. You know, they don't do that. So
YouTube is good with that.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, so here's the breakdown. If I do a 4-hour stream, in terms of time, that takes me about 4.5 hours. I got to make the thumbnail, do everything, promote it and stuff. But I'm making the content as I'm streaming. To do a design video, it probably takes 16 to 20 hours because I have to build everything, find the patterns and stuff. However, the design videos can go viral, like millions of views, hundreds of thousands of views. Whereas a stream, I feel like you get more so streams are for like subscriber growth, especially over on YouTube. So I prefer actually doing the streams, but you have to like definitely prioritize videos if you're on YouTube because that's where the growth is. Let's see. Here we go. There was a good one on the bottom. Someone in chat said to talk about Pokemon Snap. Our thoughts on Pokemon Snap. Kang, you've seen that trailer?
Yeah, I cannot wait. I played so much Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64 growing up. I absolutely love that game. I went through that game several times to try to find like all the hidden secrets. Are you guys familiar with it? Right? You guys are familiar with it, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I went through that game like several times to try to find all the hidden secrets and make all the Pokemon evolve and make it to the end, all this fun stuff. So I think that'd be really cool. When the new one comes out, I think it's kind of in that same demographic as that may enjoy Animal Crossing as well. I'm a very big demographics and analytical guy, if you haven't noticed. So I think it's within that same kind of like demographic that may enjoy Animal Crossing, and it should be fun. It should be cute. It should be a good time.
Yeah.
Did you play the original?
I never played the original. I was in that weird area where I was a little bit too old for Pokemon. I felt Pokemon was like for kids. Now I love it. Like I just played the new one, Sword and Shield. I loved it. I loved it so much. I did play Pokemon Go for a long time. Love doing that as well. So I will definitely get Snap and check it out because I'm actually to the point where I know some of the names, so that's always a plus. You know what I mean? It's like when you first start, you look at these things, you're like, I don't know what the hell that thing is. Like, what the hell is that? Like, and then it's like, so I'm definitely hyped for it. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah.
I actually like
the game, man.
I actually like the new game they just showed off. The one that's, the one they just showed the last video. I forget the name of it, but that one actually looks pretty cool to me.
Versus game like a MOBA, right?
Yes, the one that's like a MOBA. Yeah, I thought that was pretty ingenious. I like.
Wait, which game was that?
I forget the name of it, but it's very much
Pokemon one.
Yeah, that they just showed during the last direct thing or whatever. Yeah. Like it feels like it's a MOBA. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Pokemon Snap 2. Oh my god, dude, this is like a dream game for me. The first one is so great. Like I still have my N64 right there hooked up, and like I love Star Fox, and I know that's a weird comparison, but it's like on the rails, old school arcade style game. And being a little kid liking Pokemon, and then I think Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium was like the first time I saw on the big screen like Pokemon rendered in 3D and stuff, and that was mind blowing. So this is definitely gonna be a nostalgia trip. I'll probably make some content on it too. Really excited about that. Let's see. This is for Kang, straight up. This is T-Mat. What 10 villagers do you have right now, and who do you hope to have? So maybe future hunts.
I have 2 islands because I have 2 Switches. So on what I call my Twitch island, you put me on the spot here. I have Diana, I have Quilson, I have Ken, I have Anka, I have Bella, I have some other people as well. But I'm actually going villager hunting tonight over on my other island. We're doing like a YouTube themed island over on the other island, so I'm looking for villagers that kind of fit a genre on YouTube. So like for example, I have Judy. She's like the makeup YouTuber. I have I have Tangy. She's like the gardener. You know, the kind of garden nature. I have Audie. She's like the travel. So I'm looking for a villager that kind of fits in with a theme like that. Maybe a singer. So I may be going for like Francine or Chrissy, or maybe going for like Stitches. It can be like a toy review channel. Those are kind of using.
Funny.
I love Stitches.
I didn't hear Bill in any of that, so I don't know what to tell you, King.
Who?
I didn't hear Bill in any of those names, so that's a little bit,
Bill would be like the dinner villager.
Dude, why you guys? It's all right. Well, it's all right. You guys can keep hating, man. I got you.
Oh man, that was a solid list though. Let's see. Oh man. Oh, we got to talk about this. Bobby doesn't even know, I don't think. So our last guest, Katie, Tiny Libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching your stream, and she was on her friend's. No, she was watching. I was watching her stream.
Okay.
So she was touring one of her friends and like helping her friends out, like terraforming and stuff. And there was a bunch of those star fragment trees on her island.
Oh yeah.
So I was asking questions about them.
You have one?
So I was asking questions about them and asking like where they got them and stuff like that. So long story short, they came to my island accidentally. They accidentally found out my dodo code and they accidentally planted one on my island. And
wow, Pat.
I'm terrified.
I would be terrified too, man. Those things actually scare me. And I know people are like, why? Why would they scare you? The only reason is because they're hacked items.
Yeah.
And I like when Nintendo, it'd be different if this was a game that Nintendo did not update on the regular. But if there's I don't know how those things are made. My feeling is there's code in those things to make them do what they're doing. And if Nintendo puts up an update and that code that Nintendo puts in doesn't jive with the code of the thing, they could blip and leave or do something corrupt to your file. So I don't mess with those things.
Yeah.
From what I heard, and I think this is from data mining, apparently Nintendo does have a way to track what things are on your island that are not supposed to be there. I think one of the data miners found some code where Nintendo can't actually do that kind of stuff. They haven't done anything about it yet, but I think that it is in there. So,
well, that was a good show, guys. I'm gonna go do something real quick. Listen, this will be a learning experience at my expense. I think the only thing, well, besides that, now there's Nintendo ninjas like after me, but if you shake the tree, apparently you can't pick up the star fragments. They're just like there forever.
So stuck for good. See, that's the problem. I don't know. It's no different.
I built a fence around it. No one's gonna touch that.
That's what we were saying before about the duping. People that were duping when Nintendo did that update, they didn't realize, and they were duping as the update went live, and the items are still spinning on their island, and they can't touch them, they can't grab them, they can't move them, and they're literally just stuck there until whatever. They could build like a wall there, like they could terraform on it, but they can't move the items at all. So it's like, that's my thing. Like, I don't want to mess with stuff like that. I just, you have fun, Pat. You have fun doing your thing.
We'll see. This is a great question. It's by Becca, and she says, in the beginning of Animal Crossing, the main debate was about time traveling. However, as the game is out longer, new issues are arising, such as unharmful glitches. This is about me, by the way. Come on, Becca. We already know this. As these things become more accepted and less taboo, at what point do you feel we begin to stray away from the essence of the game? So now the debate is kind of shifted away from time traveling now to hacked items. I honestly feel like these are, well, they might harm your game, but the idea of it is pretty harmless. Like, it is an item. It's actually registered in the game. Like, I picked it up, and it's a money tree. Like, it registers as a money tree.
It's hacked. It's no different than back in City Folk when people had lightsabers that were registered as an axe. So you pick up the axe, you swing it, and it looked like a lightsaber. But
yeah,
my biggest thing is, like, I got way too much time into this game to run the risk of something that somebody else feels like it would look cool to just corrupt my save file. I just don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? I got way too many hours in. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to. It's just not. I'm not willing to risk it. That's just my biggest thing.
Yeah. Okay. Nicole, she's not here right now, but what's one new personality type you would want to see added for boy villagers and for girl villagers? New personality types?
I didn't know there was a difference between them.
So apparently, like, there's no girl jocks or there's no like
Really?
grumpy girls. I didn't even know that. So there's no peppy boys and stuff like that. I just found that out, and that's kind of weird.
I could tell you a couple grumpy girls that that I know, but that's not.
No, go ahead, Bobby. No. Let's go.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I don't want to get hate. I'm gonna get tore up in the chat in about 2 seconds as soon as it gets in there. I would like to see absolutely it'd be kind of cool to have the female jocks or even grumpy females in there. I like the personalities. I find myself leaning more towards the grumps. They make me laugh. They're hilarious. I don't know. That's what I would prefer all around.
Yeah. What about you, Kang? Any new personalities you'd like to see?
I think overall, and again, I haven't really played the older games, but overall, from what I've heard, the villagers are a lot nicer than they used to be. Games. So I think we need some really mean villagers, some really just get all up in your face, call you kind of crazy names, make you want to cry villagers. Probably would. Yeah, I think we need some villagers that have really, really big personalities,
Someone said spooky or brainy personality. Shy would be kind of cool.
It would be kind of cool if they had gamers, if they had ones that were gamers and stuff that you go to their house and they collect gaming stuff. That's the one thing I loved about Stitches when I first met him. He was in the comic books, but apparently that's not really his thing anymore. And that was the best. He would sit there and you'd walk up to him. He'd talk superheroes and stuff. It was amazing.
Let's see. Okay, this is a great question, actually, by Aaron Bell. They say, if New Horizons is your first Animal Crossing game, would you think someone would enjoy going back to the previous ones? So I guess, Bobby, I'll go to you.
I'm sorry, say it again? I was looking at something in the chat.
So basically, if a lot of people, this is their first Animal Crossing game, would they find enjoyment, or should they go back to some of the older ones?
Absolutely. Holly and I we're getting ready to start up New Leaf to go back and play that again, because I feel here's the thing. I feel like New Horizons is not, at this point, is not a true Animal Crossing game. It's not there yet. There's still things that they have to add to it to get there. I think in a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years, they'll be where it needs to be, but there's so many things in terms of additional stores, and gyroids are missing, and all these different things and different aspects that I think people would learn to love. So I would say, if it was me, I would either go GameCube or New Leaf. Those to me are the best two games besides this game in particular. And I love this game to death, and I can't wait for the other stuff to come. I can't wait for the Roost to show up. I mean, it's obvious that all this stuff is going to eventually hit us, and we'll have everything. But I love the train, I think that's such a cool aspect of you take the train to travel to people's islands. You have the gates. There's also customization in terms of you could change your town hall, you could change your gates, you could change your train station, all these different things that you could change that we can't change in this. It would be nice to be able to change your airport. You can't do that in this game, and there's a lot of stuff. You can't do anything with the residence center. You can't even drop stuff on the main patio area. So
yeah,
I totally would say go back and me and Holly did a video this week, what's one thing that you miss from New Leaf? And the one thing that I miss from New Leaf is the big tree. There was a tree that opening day, the first day you moved to the island or to the town, you actually planted this tree, and the tree grew over time. It got to be this massive big tree. And the cool thing was there was a retaining wall that goes around it. You could sit on it, and when you sit on it, it activated a musical timeline. and it would have like credits roll, but it's your timeline of like the date you moved in, the date you made a friend, the date that someone moved out, the date that like you got your first gift or your first thing, like all these cool little timeline features that you would love to be able to see. It's just so perfectly awesome the way they handle it. So for me, that's what I would say. Go back to those games and check them out.
So what about you, Kang? Because you've never played some of the older ones. So do you have any interest going back?
Do I have any interest to go back? Probably not. I am an old school gamer, so I have played a lot of older games. But going back to those games, it's always kind of a jarring experience. Like I recently, maybe a couple years ago, tried to play the original Ocarina of Time on the N64.
Ooh, that's rough.
And it was like, yeah, I was like, oh my, I don't remember it looking this bad. What is going on?
It's like the first time you see HD, and then you try to go back and watch, like, you go to your buddy's house, and you watch a football game in HD, and then you go back home and go watch it on your little, like, box TV. It's like, why does it look so bad, man? What happened to this?
Yeah. So some games do not age very well. Now, New Leaf is relatively recent, I think, right?
Yeah,
so that probably
years.
would be cool to go back and play. I have heard a lot of good things about New Leaf. To be honest, a lot of people are like, well, a lot of people have even said New Leaf is the better game.
Yeah.
Again, I have no sense of anything about that. I'm having fun with Animal Crossing, New Horizons. Will I go back and play New Leaf? Probably not. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put in City Folk like a week or so ago. By the way, the soundtrack is amazing, but I feel like that is the lowest cost of entry to any of the older, because like the GameCube one is like $60 on eBay, Amazon, something like that. And then, well, New Leaf, you need a 3DS, but City Folk's pretty solid. I would recommend going back to some of the older ones because, for example, when like Brewster comes out, you'll have some knowledge of those characters, because I feel like it's different. Someone like Kang, like this is your first game, you see like Leaf and stuff, and you're like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. But like Bobby's like, oh my God, Leaf, that's my buddy. Like, so there's definitely like a difference there. Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. Winch1 over on Discord says, do you use any guides or suggest any guides?
I don't use any guides.
Yeah, I bought the guide.
I just freestyle
it. Yeah, I bought the guide just because I bought it. I wanted to have it. I wanted to have the book more for the art and to see what items are in there. But I do use this app, and it's called New Horizons. I forget the actual name, but I got this app here, and I use it to just track my fish and stuff. It also helped me to figure out fossils, how many I had left, because I was able to just order which ones I was missing. Because that's the thing, like, it's easy to see, like, hey, I have these fossils, but there's nothing that shows, like, hey, you're missing this particular one. So I use it to just find that stuff. It kind of helps me do that. So it's more for tracking than anything.
Yeah, I got the companion guide, and it is worth the money. I think it retails for 30, but I've seen it as low as 17. It's like really weird. It fluctuates, but man, that guide is super high quality. And like, I think the main argument is, well, I could just kind of see all that information online, but at the same time, it's like you can't really find, like, if I wanted a list of like what does Bill's house look like, what does Eric's house look like, there's pages that you can just flip through. So I think it is pretty convenient. It's a nice read. Like the art is great on it. So definitely recommend that one. Okay. I just lost the question, but who is your least favorite NPC? I'm gonna start with Kang on this one. Bobby hates everyone, so I'll just go with Kang.
That's not true.
Well,
that's not true.
My least favorite was Red, only because it took him months to come back to your island.
Oh, that's horrible. Right?
Apparently Nintendo has kind of fixed that in his latest update, so he can come more often. But yeah, Red, oh my goodness. The first time he came to my island, I was so excited. I didn't see him again for like a month. I'm like, where is this guy? He's hiding from me. He knows he sold me a fake painting, so he's trying to avoid me.
Yeah, he's hoping you forget.
Exactly. So yeah, it used to be Red, just because he didn't come that often, and I would have liked to fill up my museum, more often than once a month. But we'll see.
Bobby, what about you?
The biggest waste of space is Wisp, but besides him, I would say CJ. I hate CJ now.
Wow.
Literally, dude, I give this guy 3 hammerhead sharks, and he gives me this little tiny model, and I'm like, what am I doing with this thing? Like, this is so stupid. Like, you get a great white, and it's massive, and then Flick does these. I mean, you give him the CJ. CJ apparently gives him the Flick, and then Flick does this garbage with it and makes it tiny. Like, I was expecting like to have a nice, the same size as the great white, like a nice big statue or model of the shark, and it was so small. It was like, this is horrible, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's frustrating, especially when you get these butterflies that are like the size of your face. They're bigger than you, and it's like, that's not how big they really are. But okay, so it's a little frustrating.
I mean, I think that label is probably like one of the most useless ones, but I can't believe I'm saying this, because like months ago I would have slapped myself, but I think Gulliver is one of the worst NPCs. Like, same dialogue, the prizes I can't even use. Like, where are you gonna put a pyramid? Like, I just don't like, and he's never there. Like, Gulliver and Red are like MIA.
But what about Gulliver? Are you okay with Gulliver?
Haven't seen him.
I saw him last night for the first time.
I have not seen him either.
I saw him last night for the first time. I don't know what he sent me, but I like his items.
Yeah.
I think his items are better than Gulliver.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the update came out like 12 days ago, and I have not seen Gulliver yet.
Yeah. We speculated. I really thought that Gulliver was going to disappear, and Gulliver would kind of take over for this like quarter of time or whatever. But or been like one's summertime, one's wintertime. Like, but it just apparently they're side by side, and that's kind of silly to me, honestly.
Yeah, I had speculated from the first time I saw it. I actually did say that. What if there are 2 different people? Like, there's Gulliver, and then there's somebody who looks exactly like Gulliver, but he's not Gulliver. And I was right, kind of. I'm not sure if they actually are the same person, but they have different names. So maybe he's just playing dress up. I don't know.
Somebody said their eyes are different, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had heard somebody say
I
their
haven't
eyes
seen them, so I don't know.
I'm going to take like a boatload of pictures when I finally see this guy, because I've never seen him.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You know who has seen him?
We have
people that time travel seen him a lot.
Yeah, they fish for him. Next is Simps fan, so it might be Cal. If you add one more exhibit to the museum, what would it be? You had a great answer, Bobby.
Yeah, mine is Nintendo. I want a Nintendo museum section, so I want them to bring back the Nintendo items, but to allow us to submit them to Blathers, and then Blathers actually sets them up in a museum, like kind of like the art museum, very similar to that, but have a section where we could walk around, and it would be so amazing to have him tell us the history of an item. Like, if, God forbid, you live under a rock and you don't know what a Triforce is, but you give him a Triforce, and then he's just like, he tells you all about the history of the Triforce or whatever, like something like that. Like, because we lost that with Smash. Smash had the trophy rooms, and I love that with Smash. Like, I loved the whole trophy room section. I know that it kind of changed the dynamic, but I love seeing these 3-dimensional statues that you can spin around and look at. So I would personally love for them to do a Nintendo section of the museum.
I think it would be cool. There's a lot of rumors about you'll be able to cook in the future in the game. So maybe you can like give your completed dishes to Blathers, and there can be like a showcase of all the different foods in the game. That'd be an incentive to actually cook them, so you can turn them in. So I think that'd be cool. And going off what you were just saying, yeah, I used to spend like hours just rotating the trophies in Smash Bros. And reading about all the cool stuff.
I think it's why I was so into I still am into Amiibo, because it was like, these are trophies. These are like the trophies in Smash, and so it's kind of like taking the fun out of, for me, it took the fun out of Smash a little bit, because that was the main thing I did. Like, I'm horrible at Smash. Like, I get smoked in like 2 minutes. So for me, it was like, hey, this is something I can do and collect and have fun, and it makes the game valuable to me. But so I was a little upset when they pulled it out. So I would love to, if they did it for this game. I saw a question earlier, Pat, that I thought was fantastic. I don't know who submitted it. I'm sorry. But they said, how do we feel Breath of the Wild 2 will sell in comparison to Animal Crossing? Will it be as big as Animal Crossing overall?
No.
I'm with you there. I think it'll do well, and I think it'll probably do. I think it'll probably do as good, if not better, than the original in terms of initial sales. I don't think it'll surpass unless it's a fantastic game, but I think that Zelda is so niche. And, like, it's not like Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing, there's so many people that don't play games that just bought Animal Crossing because they love Animal Crossing. And, I mean, there's people that literally just bought a Switch for Animal Crossing. So I don't, I agree with that.
Yeah, if Breath of the Wild 2 and Animal Crossing came out, like when Animal Crossing did, it would have been crazy. Because I feel like there is... Like, we like to talk about Animal Crossing, and it is popular, but there is a big audience that does not care for this game at all. They think it's like a baby game. Because you got to think, like, Nintendo brought back the hardcore gamers with the Switch, so I feel like there is definitely a hole there. I think it would sell fine. I think it would probably do a little bit better than the first one, but I think the hype isn't there yet. They definitely need to hype it up, but I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to do well, I think it's probably going to be maybe even game of the year again, when it comes out. Really enjoyed the first one. I spent, I don't know, maybe 300 hours playing the first one, just doing what I could do in that game. So I definitely loved it. So I'm not saying I'm not a fan of it, but just like you were saying, it is a whole different. It's brought in like hardcore gamers, plus it's brought in a lot of casual gamers as well, people who don't really play games. My wife is super into Animal Crossing. She doesn't really play games at all.
Yeah.
A bunch of celebrities are playing it and talking about it on mainstream, on social media and stuff. So it's a whole different kind of beast, this Animal Crossing thing. I think Zelda's gonna be more.
My mom wants to play Animal Crossing, and right. It's all based off of like Island Tours. She watches Island Tours on YouTube all the time. She loves them, and she's like, now she wants to play. And it was like, when it first came out, she's like, no, I don't want to play that. And now she's like, I want to play. If I showed her Zelda, she'd be like, no, I'm not playing that game. Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, this is a good question from Bewick. Is it possible to have a nature island and it not be considered cottagecore?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I think cottagecore is, and again, I might be wrong, but I always feel like cottagecore is tied to specific types of colors as well, like the whites and stuff. And I feel like with like a nature thing, it's more browns and earth tones and like things of that nature. So I don't know. I think that some people are kind of jumping on the cottagecore bandwagon and like don't really know what it is. A lot of guys, I think, and they're just basically, oh, this is cottagecore, but it's really not. So I think that's blurring the line for a lot of guys. So
yeah,
I think there's definitely a difference.
Do you have a cottagecore island, Kang? What do you think of cottagecore?
I don't know what cottagecore is.
See?
Good.
See?
Yeah. Cottagecore was today when I went to your channel and I saw you had a cottagecore video. Actually, the other day I was doing island tours and somebody mentioned it in the chat room and I thought they just kind of made it up. I'm like, what the heck is cottagecore? What are you talking about? Yeah. But it's a thing. Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to answer your question, Bewick, you definitely can. I feel like the thing is, I feel like the path that most like the famous pattern is tied into a lot of cottagecore. I feel like when you go to an island and they see that, they're like, oh, there's a cottagecore island. But there's just so much more to that, like flower patterns and, different things placed around. Like you can't really define cottagecore because there's so many different elements to it. But you know it when you see it. I don't know. It's kind of weird to describe, but
yeah.
Let's see. Here's a question from Leisha. What has been your favorite entrance designs that you've seen or done?
Oh, love when people put like 1,000 waterfalls at the end. Oh, you can't give me. Dang, isn't that the best?
It's so frustrating.
Actually, I have waterfalls at my entrance too, so let me not say anything.
You just clowned yourself. The only thing I hate about them is they're so loud. Like you go to someone's eye and you're like, "What did you say?"
It'd be nice to be able to turn them down just a little bit. Like if we could be like, "Hey, we want to adjust the volume on the waterfalls just a little bit. Like, they are a little obnoxious. My whole entranceway got redone recently. Like, that was what we were talking about earlier, and I love what I'm doing. What I've been doing is I've been following a lot of Instagram channels lately, and just taking taking in what I'm seeing, and then tying it into what I want to do. So I've showed a couple of like inspirational pictures that I found, and just changing them to be what I like in my feel. So I feel like there's a lot of really good stuff out there on Instagram. So take that stuff and run with it if you're looking for stuff.
Yeah. I feel like people overhype the entrances. I feel like they need to, okay, people are getting off the plane. They need to see this giant like waterscape thing. Mine right now is very simple. It's like a little ponds with a mini waterfall, but I feel like the entrance is a little overhyped, I gotta say. So don't focus on it too much. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one by Kazoo over on Discord. Where do you see Animal Crossing going in the future once all the hype has died a bit? Or do you think it will stay consistently strong? That's a good one.
Well, I think the way Nintendo is doing the game this time around, the hype will stay somewhat strong because they're slowly trickling out the content, and for people who aren't time traveling or anything, that gives them a lot of more stuff to do. So like now we have Gulliver who's giving these pirate items out. Apparently, I wouldn't know, but he's giving these pirate items out. So now you have an incentive to try to get all the pirate items, and then you have the new diving feature. You need to try to get all the sea creatures, and before we even know it, there's another update coming out in August. So there's going to be even more stuff to do. And you haven't even done the stuff that was added in the last update. So I think the way they're doing it is the game's going to last a long time, and I think that's literally their whole purpose in doing it this way. They want it to last a long time. They don't want it to be something people play for like a month. They go through all the content because there's no time gate on anything, and then they're done with it. So I think it's going to be something they keep up to date for like at least a few years, to be honest.
Yeah. Bobby, we've already seen the hype die a little bit. I feel like it was really big at one point. I feel like maybe people are starting to go back to work.
Well, I think I personally think that, when you go, I think a good gauge a lot of time to see like where the hype levels are is Twitch. Because when a game launches week one, everybody's playing it. And like you go on Twitch and you can literally look down your side and everybody's playing the game. I think you go on now and it's a true litmus test of like who really are fans, who are enjoying the game, who's really having fun with the game and continuing to play. I think those people that you see playing now will be around for a long duration. And I think those are the people that like this is their jam right now. They're just having a good time with it, and they're doing the best they can with it. And I think that will the numbers decrease a little bit? I'm sure they'll decrease a little bit, but I think that if anything, what we saw with New Leaf was the core Animal Crossing audience is very rabid. They will stay with this game for years, and this game will not die off. Like, you could literally go on before and go look up New Leaf, and there was a bunch of people still streaming it. Now, it was harder to stream because you had to actually get a hacked 3DS, but I think you'll see people streaming this for years to come, and I think that, it's just one of these games that I don't think that people are going to back away from for a long time.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of like shift this over to a comment I just saw from Bumby. They say this game was fiscally a $60 early access if you think about it. Yes and no. When I buy a $60 game, I feel like if I get 20 hours out of it, I'm like pretty okay. Like there are some RPGs, like smaller RPGs that 20, 25 hours, I'm pretty satisfied. Anything after 100, I'm like, wow, I really enjoyed this game. Mm-hmm. I am now almost at 500 hours of Animal Crossing. I do agree that, like, they did keep, I think, major parts out of this game, so I could see where you're coming from. But I got to say, if they never updated it from day one, this would still be a 10 out of 10 game for me. I feel like the hours alone, like the whole premise of Animal Crossing, it's built on a real world clock. There's things to do every single day. Like I could play this game on a very small scale, 30 minutes a day forever. And like not a lot of games can say that. about themselves. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you early access? That's a pretty like loaded thing.
I think it's.
Well,
go ahead, Kang.
no, I was gonna say the game was okay. So if you're gonna compare it to the older Animal Crossing games, then yeah, obviously it doesn't have as many features as New Leaf. Even though I haven't played it, but based on what I've heard, but when you first got the game, it was a complete experience. You could play the game. There was progression. There was a quote unquote ending. Once you got to 3 stars, there was already thousands of items in the game. When the game first launched, so the core of the game was already there. Thousands of items, progression, build up your island, do stuff like that. Yeah. Now, if you're going to judge by the older game based on how many features are in the game, then yes. But I think Nintendo is trying to do something a little different this time as far as, yes, you have the core game, but they're going to be slowly adding in some older features from older games and some new features that they haven't had in the older games. Yeah. But that's going to, okay, so my whole thing is like, when that summer update video came out on Twitter and YouTube, people went nuts. Mm-hmm. People were crazy. The first time they saw the little girl jump into the water, it was it was a mind-blowing thing. Even though it was in the older games, a lot of people didn't play the older games like I didn't. Yeah. So for a lot of people, this was their first time seeing this happen, and they've been playing the game for months, and then for them, this is like a totally new, huge feature. So they're like super hyped and excited to experience it. So imagine that happening over and over again every time they release one of these updates, the fall update, the winter update, whatever other updates they keep coming out with. So I think for some of the older fans, they may be a little bit jaded and they're thinking like, oh man, New Leaf has so much more when it first came out. Well, they weren't doing real-time updates. So they had to have the whole game come out, with this actually prolong the game and make it last much. Well, again, New Leaf, people still play New Leaf, but again, they can force it to last a lot longer by releasing updates, periodically, and keep the hype.
I think it's real simple. I think you eliminate the pandemic, and nobody makes a statement like that because you don't have a time to keep on top of it. Like, I feel like the hours that were clocked has a lot to do with a lot of people are just sitting home all day and didn't have anything really to do other than watch and binge Netflix and play this. And I feel like if you are living your normal life that we were a year ago this time, it's a totally different ballgame. You're talking about like you're living life. You're not able to do everything you're doing. So when these updates are coming, I think people would have probably been upset the amount of updates we're getting because it would have kept them further behind the 8 ball, and they would have been like, I don't have time to play the game the way I get to play the game. So I personally think that it's it's easy to make statements like that now in hindsight, but I feel like this game, like I just said earlier in the game, like I don't feel like it's better than New Leaf, but I feel like it's a great, fantastic game, and it's standalone. If you don't add any of the aspects, obviously it was disappointing to a lot of us because it was like, man, where's this? But I don't feel like it's in any way lacking at all. It's like, hey, we made a huge jump on fishing and bugs, and then like, oh my god, here comes all the undersea creatures. Oh my god, here comes all the art, and it's like totally different ball game. I think, personally.
No shade to that person, by the way. Like, no. I like discussing that because I feel like in it, we probably won't get to it today, but I do feel like this game is lacking in certain areas. But I mean, overall, I think it's great. This was a viral post on Twitter, and this kind of reminds me of the little tease that we got of diving. So this is by Gaming223, and it's titled "Punchy just spilled the beans on something," and it's someone talking to Punchy, and they're saying, "I'm still wide awake. I guess Brewster was right. 17 cups of coffee is 3 too many." Bobby, it's coming. It has to.
I mean, that was months ago. They said that too. That was something very similar that happened as well. I think that when it's getting ready to come, I totally believe that this is like an October, a November update, and it just coincides with the time of year that people are like getting hot chocolate and getting coffee a lot and pumpkin spice latte. Like I know Kang likes to drink a lot and all that stuff.
Pumpkin spice latte.
The look was worth it. The look was worth saying. So, but no, I think that's he's definitely coming. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same thing. I think around that time of fall, I'm thinking we're gonna have farming and also probably roosters as well because again, or even winter. And you know what? I'm gonna say winter. Going off that same logic, winter time, wanna cuddle up, drink some hot cocoa, a nice hot drink. I'm gonna say here today, July 15th, winter roosters, fall farming. You heard it here first.
Wow. There you go.
Hey, question, because it keeps popping on the chat. Kang, how many hours do you have in to Animal Crossing?
At least 300. At least 300.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. That number is probably going to jump up more. I feel like you did a big thing today, Kang. Like, not many people can say that. Like, it was your last day of work.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, like, going back to that question we had earlier about YouTube versus streaming, or videos versus streaming, because I was able to start uploading Animal Crossing content to YouTube, that made my YouTube channel, like, take off, which in turn made my Twitch channel take off. So it's just a combination of both of those things that have made it to the point where I'm getting so busy that I need to take a step back from my job to kind of focus on everything. And obviously, it's been lucrative as well. So if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be doing it because I don't want to be sleeping under a bridge. But it's just gotten so busy to the point where I want to focus on it more so I can continue to put out content that people enjoy. So I can continue doing streams, maybe even more streams because I have more time, But yeah, I quit my job today. Well, no, I didn't quit today. I put in my notes weeks ago. I didn't just.
You just walked into the office and said, no, enough of this.
But I noticed like 2 weeks ago, and today was my last day.
That's amazing, dude. Amazing. Congrats. Okay, I think this might take us to the end. But Bewick again says basically per DLC, paid DLC, there's a very fine line on the amount of content coming out. We've brought this up a few times, but Kang, this is your first Animal Crossing thing. I mean, you would definitely pay for DLC, obviously, but what do you think about will they do it?
I don't think they will. Okay, you know what? It would have to be a major update, like a major something. Like I'm not opposed to buying DLC, expansion packs, whatever. I'm a gamer, so if I enjoy the game, you're putting out something that's gonna make me continue enjoying it, I don't mind buying it, whatever. I'm not like those guys who are like, oh, deals, those kind of guys. I don't mind because we can talk more about this in depth, but if you really get down to it, games really should not be $60 right now based on inflation. Games should cost more, which is why devs are trying to come up with other ways to make money off of their games, which include DLC and all these other things that they do, like limited editions and all that stuff. So anyway, games should be more than $60, but because people's mindset, they're still at that same $60 price. So a DLC is not something I'm opposed to. I don't think they will do it unless it's something like super huge that adds like a whole crap ton more with the game. I think right now their plan is just free updates for a while, and that's where it's gonna go. My YouTube is not loading. I can't see your stream anymore. Whoops.
Really?
Having that issue?
No, I'm running. I can see it. Fine. I can see it all good. Everything's good on my side.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it. Bobby, has your tone shifted a little bit?
No, I mean, dude, I am all about. I want it to be quality, though. I just don't want to pay for like, hey, we're going to give you 10 new jackets to wear. Like, if they say like we're going to give you something tangible, something good, then I'd be all for it, and I wouldn't even blink an eye at it. If they were to say like, hey, if you want to buy an example that we talked about before, like you want to buy this record player that's a special record player that'll let you access all of the hourly music from the entire catalog, and then you can adjust and pick what songs you want to play, what hour. If you want the 3 p.m. from the GameCube to play at 3 p.m. in New Horizons, it does. If you want the 4 p.m. from New Leaf to play, and if that thing cost me $20, I'd be okay with paying it. I would have no problem, and it's something that doesn't affect the game. Like, it's not something that Kang has to get or you have to get in order to be like to have the game. Those things I'm okay with. If it's things that are just affect me and doesn't affect anybody else, it's something that I enjoy, then I'm okay with that all the way. So I don't have a problem with DLC. And like Kang said, like, dude, these guys, you got to figure $60. If you play a game like Breath of the Wild, you give $60, you walk away, and that's it. And sometimes you get DLC, and you have to pay for the DLC to upgrade it. But like, they're telling you automatically, we're going to support this game for 2 years. To think that they're not going to make any more money off of this for 2 years, that just seems silly to me. So I'm okay with giving them money.
Yeah. As much as I want to give Nintendo more money for, quality of life improvements, paths and stuff, I think my tone has changed. I feel like earlier on in the show, I was like, they're definitely going to put out a DLC pack. But I think if they do that now, it's going to get bad reception. Like, people are not going to... They're going to have very negative... they'll all buy it, let's face it. But
it depends on how they approach it. It depends on what they put in there. If they were to say, like, hey, we're going to let you have more pattern spots, right? But it's going to be $10. I have a problem with that. Like, that's, to me, is like, that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. But if you're doing something that's not really...
It's got to be big.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be like a new island for it, because they have updates all the time. It's like, well, why didn't we pay for diving, but we have to pay for more patterns? It's just, I feel like they're not even close. If they do come up with paid DLC, it'll be a year from now, I honestly think.
I think it's all how it's handled and how it's rolled out. They can't just be like, hey, man, here's 5 new hats, and we're going to charge you $20. I think everybody will lose their minds. But if it's something tangible, something that's like, hey, this is... If they were to go like, here's a brand new texture pack, you can buy this Breath of the Wild texture pack, and it changes everything. Like, the grass will look like Breath of the Wild. The music will be kind of have like a windy flow to it, and like the trees will look... Dude, I'd buy that in a minute. And it's something that it's totally for me, and you guys don't have to buy, and I'm okay with stuff like that. And it's whatever.
Well, you would buy it, but like little Timmy going to his mom saying, I need another $10, but I just bought this $60 game. It's like,
Pat,
I don't know.
Pat, Fortnite, just stop it.
But it's free, though.
Fortnite's not free. Fortnite's free, but then how many parents... Like, listen, Epic is not in the business to lose money.
How much did the mom and dads pay for Fortnite, though?
The mom and dad didn't pay anything for the Fortnite, but every week they're paying like $40, $60 for skins. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's true. I think that might be it. Bobby, you want to keep going? I think that might be it, man.
I think we're good, man. I think we did. I think we put in enough time today. We got
definitely
an hour and 40. We're good.
Guys, a couple things. First of all, in the description, you can find these fine gentlemen, Bobby and Kang Gaming. Definitely go check them out. Kang, you have a stream tonight? Villager hunting?
I am streaming right after this, villager hunting. Should be fun time. We're looking for maybe Stitches, maybe somebody else.
Maybe Bill. Thanks.
Never.
Not Bill. But if I find him, if I see him, I'll think about you. I'll think about you.
Thank you.
Also, if you guys did not see today, if you were living under a rock, all my socials, something big happened today. It's because of you guys. So we are teaming up with Tuvlo, the artist. We're doing a live concert this Saturday. Amazing stuff, dude. I can't even process it still. Like, I love Tuvlo. So this is because of you guys. It's going to be amazing. Currently over on her Instagram, because you can only do it this week, she's having a contest. You have to make her merch, and you can get entered to come to the concert, like, on my island. So that's pretty cool. So definitely go check it out. Thank you guys again for... That's major, guys. You don't even know how big that is.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. But besides that, guys, you can catch this show every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/NintenTalk. If you were listening to this, thank you very much. Over on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can hear podcasts. Thank you, guys. Once again, thank you, Kang, for joining us.
Yes, Kang.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's fun.
All right, man. And we'll see you again next week. Peace out.
Preston.